My wife announced she wanted to move, not tomorrow, not next month, but eventually, when we found the right property. Our house is too small, Jessica said over breakfast. We need more space, better location, something that reflects where we are in life now. We lived in a 2,400 square foot home in a good neighborhood, paid off, well maintained, 15 minutes from my office. But if Jessica wanted to explore options, I was open to the conversation. I'll start looking, she said. I know you're busy with the infrastructure projects. Let me handle the real estate search. She hired Connor Hayes, a boutique agent who specialized in luxury properties. His website showed multi-million-dollar listings, professional photography, polished marketing materials. Connor comes highly recommended, Jessica told me. He understands what we're looking for. I met Connor once, early 40s, confident handshake, expensive watch, the kind of person who made real estate sound like investment banking. I'll take excellent care of Jessica, he assured me. Finding the perfect home is a process. It takes time. He was right about that. 9 months every Saturday, sometimes Wednesdays. Property viewings that lasted 3, 4, sometimes 6 hours. Jessica would come home with brochures, listing sheets, photos on her phone. This one had great bones but needed too much work. That one had the wrong orientation for natural light. The other one was in a good location, but the layout felt closed off. Always something wrong, never quite right. I didn't mind. I'm a civil engineer. I understand that finding the right property takes due diligence. But 9 months seemed excessive for someone who claimed to be serious about moving, especially when she never asked me to view a single property with her. I want to narrow it down first, she'd say. No point wasting your Saturdays until I find real contenders. It made sense, sort of. Then I received the invoice. The email came from Connor Hayes Real Estate. Subject, commission agreement, Chen Property Search. I opened it, confused. Jessica and I hadn't bought anything. Why was there a commission invoice? The document outlined a retainer agreement Jessica had signed for exclusive property search services. Fee structure, 6% of estimated purchase price. Estimated purchase price, $450,000. Commission total, $27,000. Already paid in installments over 9 months. I read it 3 times. Real estate agents earn commission when a property closes. Not during the search process, and certainly not 6% of an imaginary purchase price for properties we never bought. I called Jessica's phone, voicemail. I walked to her office. She worked from home as a marketing consultant, pulling in about $75,000 annually. Jess, can you explain this invoice from Connor Hayes? She looked up from her laptop. What invoice? Commission agreement, $27,000 for property search services. Her face went carefully blank. Oh, that. Connor suggested a retainer structure. Guarantees his time is exclusively dedicated to us. It's actually a smart investment if you think about it. Jessica, agents don't charge retainers. They earn commission on closed sales. Connor's business model is different. He only works with serious clients. The retainer demonstrates commitment. $27,000 to look at houses we never bought. We're still looking. These things take time. I stared at my wife. Marketing consultant. Someone who understood business structures and contracts. There was no universe where this arrangement made financial sense, unless the point wasn't finding a house. I didn't argue. I just said, okay. But I think we should pause the search, reassess our priorities. Fine. Too easy. No resistance, like flipping a switch. That evening I researched Connor Hayes Real Estate. His brokerage was small. 3 agents. Decent reputation. Nothing exceptional. I made a phone call. Let me explain my position. I'm a civil engineer, director of infrastructure for a mid-sized development firm. Annual salary, $290,000. But the real wealth came from something else. 8 years ago, I invested $50,000 in a former colleague's construction materials company. Small operation, specialized in sustainable building products. That company was acquired last year by a larger manufacturer. My stake converted to $520,000 cash. Combined with existing investments, retirement accounts, and home equity, my total net worth was approximately $1.6 million. Most of it separate property, accumulated before marriage or kept in distinct accounts. Jessica knew I made good money. She didn't know the full extent of our assets because she'd never asked to review the complete financial picture. Now I had a decision to make. I could confront Jessica about the $27,000, demand explanations, create drama, or I could gather evidence with precision. I contacted a business broker who specialized in real estate agencies. I'm interested in acquiring a small brokerage, boutique operation, 3 to 5 agents, established client base. What's your budget? Up to $500,000 for the right opportunity. I have a few options. Connor Hayes Real Estate might be interesting. Owner's been talking about retirement. Perfect. 2 weeks later, I met Connor Hayes in a conference room downtown, not as his client's husband, as a potential buyer of his business. Mr. Chen, I understand you're interested in acquiring my brokerage. That's right. I'm diversifying my investment portfolio. Real estate services seem like a stable sector. We discussed financials, client lists, revenue streams, property management contracts. Connor's asking price, $380,000. I offered $340,000. Cash. Close in 30 days. He accepted. I assume you'll want to review all active client files? Connor said as we finalized paperwork. Absolutely. Complete transparency on current engagements. Of course. I didn't mention my wife. Didn't need to. Once I owned the brokerage, I'd have access to everything. The acquisition closed on a Tuesday. I now owned Connor Hayes Real Estate, all client files, all scheduling systems, all commission agreements, including my wife's. I spent that evening in the brokerage office, reviewing digital records. Connor had been meticulous with documentation, every client meeting logged, every property viewing scheduled, every commission tracked. I pulled up Jessica Chen's file, 9 months of property search services. I opened the showing schedule, 0 properties viewed, not a single scheduled showing at any actual real estate listing. Instead, the calendar showed client consultation, conference room B, a hotel conference room Connor rented monthly, property discussion, off-site location, restaurants, coffee shops, market analysis meeting, client location TBD, 47 appointments. Not one at an actual property for sale. I cross-referenced the timestamps with Jessica's calendar. Perfect matches. Every Saturday viewing corresponded to a consultation on Connor's schedule. They'd been meeting regularly for 9 months, but not to look at houses. I opened the financial records. The $27,000 retainer had been deposited into Connor's business account. Legitimate business income, taxes paid, everything technically above board. Except real estate agents don't provide $27,000 worth of consultation services for imaginary property searches. I sat in Connor's former office, now my office, until midnight, staring at spreadsheets that documented 9 months of my wife paying another man to spend time with her. Not quite an affair, not quite fraud, something in between, an emotional transaction disguised as business. The next morning, I called my attorney. I need divorce paperwork prepared, I told my attorney. Nothing filed yet, just ready. What changed? I explained the real estate situation, the acquisition, the records. That's strategic, she said carefully. But I should warn you, nothing you've described is legally actionable as adultery. No evidence of physical affair. I know. Then what's your goal? Clarity. I want to understand what I'm dealing with. And I want the option to end this when I'm ready. Understood. I'll draft discovery requests too, financial disclosures, in case we need them. Good. I didn't confront Jessica immediately. Instead, I scheduled a meeting with Connor Hayes. He came to the brokerage office, still doing transition work, training the remaining agents on my new ownership. Connor, I need to discuss a client file. Jessica Chen. His expression shifted. Your wife? Yes. I should have disclosed that during the acquisition. Why didn't you? Because nothing happened. I know how it looks, but it was exactly what the file says. Consultation services. For 9 months, at $27,000, with 0 properties viewed. She didn't want to view properties, she wanted to talk. About what? Connor sat down, looking tired. At first, real estate, then her marriage, her career. Feeling invisible, feeling like she'd built her life around someone else's success. And you listened for $3,000 per month. I provided a service. Emotional labor is still labor. She paid for my time. I gave it to her. Nothing physical ever happened. I believed him. The way I'd believed Marcus Bennett, the photographer from a different timeline. Some people don't need physical affairs. They just need someone to see them differently than their spouse does. What did she tell you about me? That you're brilliant, successful, that you built an impressive career, that she admires you. But she doesn't think you actually see her anymore, that you're married to your work and she's just there. I let that sit. You're right, I said finally. I probably don't see her the way I used to, but charging $27,000 to be her emotional support system while pretending to search for houses, that's predatory. It was her idea, the retainer structure. She suggested it. Because you created the arrangement where it made sense. You took advantage of someone vulnerable. Connor didn't argue. I'm terminating your consulting contract effective immediately, I said. You'll finish the transition work, train the team, then you're done. And Jessica's file? Stays confidential, as it should be, but I'm keeping the documentation. That evening I sat down with Jessica. I need to tell you something, I said. I bought Connor Hayes real estate. Her face went white. The transition happened 2 weeks ago. I've reviewed all client files, including yours. Silence. I know there were no property viewings. I know you paid $27,000 for consultation services. I know exactly what happened. Nothing happened. I believe you, but something was happening. You were paying someone to give you attention I wasn't providing. Jessica started crying, not dramatically, just quiet tears. I felt invisible, she said. You're always working, building, achieving, and I'm just here, supporting, watching. I know. You do. Connor told me. And he's not wrong. I did stop seeing you. Somewhere between the projects and the promotions and the investments, I forgot we were supposed to be building something together. So what now? I handed her the divorce papers my attorney had prepared. Now you decide. Do you want to fix this? Or do we acknowledge it's already broken and handle it with dignity? Jessica chose divorce. Not immediately. She asked for time to think. 3 weeks later she said, I think we both know this marriage ended a long time ago. I agreed. The settlement was straightforward. I kept my separate property, the investments, the construction materials payout, the premarital assets. We split the home equity and joint accounts. Jessica received $180,000. Fair for 15 years of marriage. I sold our house within 6 weeks, got $40,000 over asking in a competitive market. The real estate brokerage I'd acquired. I flipped it to one of the agents for $420,000 after owning it for 8 months. $80,000 profit for strategic timing. That profit went straight into 3 early-stage tech startups. One failed. One's breaking even. The third just raised Series A at a $25 million valuation. My $30,000 stake is now worth $340,000 on paper. I bought a condo in a new high-rise downtown. Modern, floor-to-ceiling windows. Smart home integration. Pool and gym on the 20th floor. I work the same director role. But I've added angel investing as a side focus. Review pitch decks. Attend startup events. Actually enjoy the strategic thinking. I date. An entrepreneur building a sustainability platform. A CFO who mountain bikes on weekends. A woman who designs commercial architecture. Real people, real conversations. None of them need to pay $27,000 to feel seen. Jessica reached out once, 6 months after the divorce. Asked if I'd meet for coffee. I declined politely, not out of anger, out of boundary. Some chapters close. Reopening them doesn't add anything. The real estate brokerage files sit in cloud storage, not as proof of betrayal, as proof I can turn problems into profit. Jessica paid $27,000 for emotional consultation disguised as house hunting. I turned that discovery into $80,000 in profit and a clearer investment strategy. Not revenge, just better resource allocation. And the only property I'm searching for now is the kind that actually appreciates,